Racing Electronics here at the PRI show. Steve Post from Motor Racing Network, catching up with a buddy of mine. We go back, the families go back, we go back years and years. Promoter of Florence Motor Speedway, Steve Zacharias. Hey man, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Always good to catch up with you, that's for sure. 2024 at Florence Motor Speedway, how was it?
Crazy, right? Especially the way we ended, but man, it's been you've been there to kind of see how we've got to that point and to culminate and finish off 2024. Man, it felt good. Final year, first year under our ownership. We had lease to own for Florence Motor Speedway since 2020, but that was the first year we actually owned it as a family. Melmoa Incorporated, or LLC, owned it, which is all my kids' initials: Morgan Elaine, Leanne May, and Owen Alonji. That was our first year of saying this is our racetrack for sure, and we finished it off with a bang.
We'll talk a little bit about that bang, because your South Carolina 400 was just wall-to-wall people. But when you took Florence Motor Speedway over just a few years ago, I know you had a vision, but did you dream this big?
No, I mean, obviously we always dream big, but the dream big came with a fan of short track racing, right? Somebody that supports all of us, and without him, Dale Jr., we're all talking about, without him, man, we couldn't have been where we were. And the great part about Dale Earnhardt Jr., for those that haven't had a chance, he is doing this for all the right reasons. I don't care what social media says and people think that he's doing it for X, Y. He just loves the sport. He's a historian, he's a racer at heart, and he has been a huge supporter of Florence Motor Speedway, and without him, I know that event couldn't have been that big.
No, it really is. And the story on this, Dale Earnhardt Jr., as he was coming up through the late model stock ranks, Florence Motor Speedway was one of his home tracks, and he has just so embraced the place. I want to even talk about embrace the place. You've actually shared with me, he sometimes brings the motor coach down there after the races, and 3 or 4 in the morning, you guys are just standing around a fire pit having a cold, frosty beer with him. That's just real.
Well, so him and I had a conversation at one point about, like, the racers nowadays, it's a business, right? Back in our day, I say that, like, that again, back to us getting old, right? Back in my day, we used to go uphill both ways, but back in the day, you used to be able to go have a beer with your buddies, hang around. It was all about the camaraderie. Now it's become somewhat of a business where the driver has to be here at 2, and you got to be dressed for this, and you got this appearance, and like the other day, 400, perfect example. We were making steaks at 4 o'clock in the morning as soon as it was over, and at one point, actually, and it's funny, he goes, "I probably should go put the car away." And him and Brian and the team went at 4 o'clock in the morning and put the car back in the trailer because it was just sitting outside. So you're lucky they didn't steal the doors off that thing.
Oh my God, that is awesome. That really, truly is. It's fun stuff. I want to talk big picture late model stock racing in the Southeast. It's always fascinated me. We've got the Cars Tour, which kind of is an umbrella over things. We've got NASCAR Weekly Racing, which is where you are. Not like the Virginia Triple Crown. Just kind of the state. What are the challenges? What are the good sides? Where's late model stock racing at, in your opinion?
I mean, I think it's in a good place. It can be better. It's definitely gone. It's been a roller coaster ride since we started. 2020 didn't help. Tire shortage didn't help. Costs of certain things don't help. Fuel prices, tire prices. But I think it's in a good place. I mean, shoot. Perfect example is we had 60 late models at the 400. So you can get 60. You can go to Martinsville and get 80 or 90. I think it's in a good place. It needs a little bit of the TLC, right? It needs a little kind of molding, maybe a little extra something here and there. And those are things we're working on, because me, I don't quit trying to figure out something fun. Like we used to do the Daytona Beach Madness at Myrtle Beach. Something that's interesting. It's got to get the driver to, because the problem that you have in short track racing in general is there's always only one winner. And we all can't be that winner. So we want to find a way that if you're running 10th or 11th in the race, that you're fighting for something just as hard as the person that's winning. So we're in works of doing some kind of out of the ordinary stuff for next year. That'll come out shortly. Our schedule is going to be released next week for sure. But man, I guess I love racing so much that I keep sitting myself in the seat and thinking, okay, what does it feel like if I did X, Y, and Z? But then on the promoter side, I have to say, all right, well, how does that cost X, Y, and Z? So it's a fine line. But I think short track racing's okay. It just needs a little bit of TLC, a little bit of love.
Sounds like a good plan. Can't wait to see the schedule come out and can't see with all the plans. Finally, for you, you are a third generation racer, and you are the father of a fourth generation racer. What's it like to be a dad of a race car driver? What is that experience like for your son, Owen?
I can tell you right now that I've told people, so you know this, I've raced a bunch of different things. I've driven Daytona in a cup car, not in a cup race obviously, but I've driven all these big tracks. I carry tires at the Daytona 500, I carry tires at the Brickyard 400, and I'll do it right now if you told me to. But if you ask me to watch Owen, my heart is literally coming out of my chest. My stomach gets sick, like I can't process it. But again, if I was to do it, like Martinsville, perfect example. I race one time a year. I'll get in the car, seatbelts really don't fit me, the radio doesn't work, but I'm sure we'll go. But if I'm watching him, I am losing my mind. Like it is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Morgan will tell you, I'm sitting there pacing. I'm like, oh, do this, don't do that. Like it is so much fun, and he seems to love it. And we had a great week at Southern National last week. He made the race. He qualified, so this is only his 6th or 7th race in a legend car. You're in bandos all year, and when we kind of got out of the national stuff, we switched over. So he went to the biggest race of his career, Southern National, and figured out a way to finish in the qualifying position. When he come across the start-finish line, his hands were screaming, like going out the window as if he won the $25,000. Morgan said when he got out of the car, he was beating the top of the car, but so excited. So like it's all those things, right? Like I mean, go back to when I was a kid and trying to just see it from that side is so much fun to be a father and be a race fan, occasionally.
It is neat stuff. It really truly is. I've got good news or bad news for you. A, he seems to love it, and B, I think he's pretty good at it too. So you're probably going to have to deal with this for a while.
That's right. Yeah, like I said, and I've had conversations with him. I said, I just want to make sure you're not doing this for me, right? He's like, no, this has nothing to do with you.
No, he is one of the young drivers that comes up all the time and chats, and I'm like, this kid's got it for real, that's for sure. Steve, congratulations on the success. Resurrecting a racetrack. I am a huge fan of resurrecting a racetrack. Florence Motor Speedway sat vacant. You took it over, and the last time we were there with buku fans and all kinds of race cars. Congratulations on the success, and can't wait to see what happens going forward.
Absolutely, and thank you so much again for your post the other day about us and what we're trying to do, because there's not many people who understand like the undertaking it takes to do this, and it's an army, not a village, or a village, not it takes everybody. My mom, my dad, the kids. I mean, it's sacrifice for everybody. So it's fun. We do it for what we love, and we do it for the racers.
It is for the racers, that's for sure. Steve Zacharias, owner, that sounds really good as well, owner of Florence Motor Speedway in South Carolina.